It started out with things being thrown at me, and then that progressed to actual punching and hitting, physically hitting, and then ultimately progressed to other weapons being brandished.
It's a type of domestic abuse we never talk about. Some might even laugh at, though. For Michael Healy, 5 years in a relationship which was both mentally and physically abusive at the hands of his partner, a woman, left him fearing for his life, with little to no options for actual support. Some people at home might say, you know, take a look at Michael. He's a big, burly guy. You can take care of yourself. What's the matter here?
Yeah, no, I get that actually a lot. And it's just my nature. I'm not the type of person that would, hit another person and even defend myself. It was like the darkest time of my life. I got to a place where I literally did not know what to do next.
When Michael finally found the strength to end the toxic violence situation, he says he reached out for support, but found most shelters don't take men, and none had resources available to support men trying to leave and heal from an abusive domestic situation. Over a 5-year period, a 2014 StatsCan report found that equal proportions of men and women reported being victims of spousal violence across the country.
Single men can go to a homeless shelter, but of course they don't get the support that they would were they women going to a violence against women shelter. Those violence against women shelters are critically important for women in abuse situations. They get safe space, they also have legal services, they have trauma counseling, they have emergency support. By contrast, men get none of those things if they go to a homeless shelter.
Justin Trottier with the Canadian Centre for Men and Families says this isn't about men versus women. More resources are needed for all genders fleeing traumatic relationships. His hope is to close the resource gap for men and men with children by raising funds to open a first-of-its-kind shelter in a major North American city by mid-2018.
These big centers, population centers, where there are thousands and thousands of men and women who are dealing with domestic violence. There's not a single family shelter for abused men and their children in any of these major population centers. Toronto could be the first, and of course the hope is that others would follow that lead.
The response some men get when trying to explain their situation, according to Michael, can be a degrading, difficult experience.
Responses that I would say were almost on the verge of hostile and just basically telling me I was the perpetrator and that I needed to get some anger management courses. They referred me to anger management is what they did. But men hear those stories and begin to fear that that's what will happen.
So far they've raised $170,000. There's also a GoFundMe campaign, and for every dollar put into that, one of the private donors will be matching dollar for dollar. And once they reach their goal of $300,000, the centre will be going to the province, hoping that they too will match some of the funds. I'm Adrian Gobriel for City News.